Yakshamash and welcome to Piotrowice Nyskie Palace. This is the most extraordinary place and I've wanted to visit here for years. Home of Jim Parton and his family. I mentioned Jim the other day. He used to be a city trader in London. He used the advantage of the fact that he had fairly fluent Japanese to persuade one of the major investment banks that it would be a great idea if they employed him, because they were expecting a huge wall of Japanese money to be arriving in the city soon, and they needed his help to facilitate making the most of it. He increasingly had a very, very good income, as you'd expect in the City of London in the 80s, and he had a very expensive wife that went with it. When he eventually realised that there was more to life than the City of London and being surrounded by often quite ridiculous people, he decided to move on. His wife didn't approve, and when he no longer had his Armani suits, fancy sports cars, she dropped him, stopped him seeing his child, and that led him to being involved for 15 years with the charity Families Need Fathers, including several years as chairman and chief executive. And he moved on from that to wife number 2. Here she is. And she's Polish, and 15 years ago they bought this former bishop's palace in the middle of nowhere in Poland. Now, how many houses can you buy in the UK for about £100,000 or equivalent of that have a ballroom? Can't even buy half a council house for that these days. And a ballroom that hosts every year a festival in honour of Poland's finest composer, Chopin. And how many houses have all the rest of this? I just love this place. So many quirky details about it. The inner courtyard, the large number of bedrooms that Jim and his family have spent the last 15 years doing up to a wonderful level of comfort, and it's still work in progress. Here are some photos of different seasons and a house that the whole family have come to love and have grown up in. Let's have a look around here. Okay, down here is the main part of the palace, and a huge amount of work has gone into doing what's been needed to bring it up to the standard that it's at today. And there's a long way to go, but this is a labour of love, and this will continue for some time. They're clearly here to stay, and they fund it by renting out rooms through Airbnb very inexpensively, but can't charge much in the middle of nowhere in Poland. There are plenty of places to just sit and socialise with other people staying here, take it all in. Excellent library. I might pick up this book here, The Shock of New Year's Eve in Cologne. Now, I lived in Cologne for 4 years in the 90s. And I can tell you, New Year's Eve there is always pretty wild, and some of the best fireworks you'll ever see. This is my room, or rather suite. I have a whole family here. And bishops' palaces from the Middle Ages in former communist countries are not particularly well known for their central heating, but there are excellent recently installed fires in each of the rooms. Some of them have their own kitchen, and they've really been done up to a wonderful degree without spoiling some of the older features. So keeping the original brickwork. And yes, it does get pretty cold at night, but that's nothing a hot water bottle or electric heater can't deal with. Let me show you outside. I apologise now, this video may go on for a bit. Anyway, here's the host himself. This is Jim.
Are you filming?
I am filming, is that all right?
Okay.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about where we are?
I've just got Mr. Trav has arrived with his small harem.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they're a group of women who are going to take this house over in the coming months. I'm not sure exactly when. They've got a plan.
Excellent.
Wellness, health, something or other. They're going to fix the Polish nation, they say, but I don't know in what way.
Well, somebody has to, and this is a great base for strategizing away from all distractions.
Exactly.
One of the things I love about the area is the night sky, because you're nowhere near any major settlements.
No,
you just get the most beautiful stars that you don't tend to see in the UK anymore.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show people around the grounds.
Okay.
And I'd love to see the chapel later on.
I'm about to get the key for them, so it's going to be open.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Hello. Welcome to Piotrowice, Nyskie. I don't even know how that's pronounced, but...
Piotrowice, Nyskie.
Yeah, welcome to Piotrowice, Nyskie. Excellent. And I hear
you pay royalties for this one?
How much would you like? I can give you 10 zloty.
Oh gosh.
Excellent. I'll write you a check. Have a great stay. Okay, thank you. You get all kinds of people coming here. Jim, former journalist, who wrote a book about his experiences with the family courts, which, suffice it to say, were ridiculous and went on for some years. It should be pretty simple to get to see your children when you divorce. Nope. Thankfully, 80% of families do sort things out, and they have an amicable arrangement where they split time between both the parents and draw up what's called a shared parenting arrangement, where parents have 50-50 responsibility for seeing their children. Now, 50-50 split doesn't need to mean 50-50 time division, 50-50 financial division after the house is sold and people move on. But it should be the starting point, and whether fathers see their children just for alternate weekends, or whether they do manage to make it half of the child's time and pick them up from school, take them on holiday. That comes down to individual arrangements. But the sad fact is there are 1 million children in the UK that are growing up without knowing their father. And out of those, 40% will never see their father again. There are around a couple of 100,000 children that are not seeing their mother, because in 93% of cases, the children live with the mother. 7% of cases, the children live with the father. But you also get a lot of cases where social services get involved, sometimes in a good way, but in most cases that I've been asked to help out with have been absolutely disastrous and have messed up the situation, and the children end up growing up without either parents. Now, there are reasons when welfare means that it's appropriate to be removed from the parents if they're criminals, if they don't treat children appropriately. But there are thousands of us, tens of thousands of us, probably more, that have found ourselves fighting with somebody we once loved very much, and now it's all about seeing the children, and it gets difficult. Leads people onto extraordinary things, giving up life in the city, for instance, for this. If you've lived in London for decades, I can understand why you would want to come out and enjoy the serenity of the Czech Mountains, because the border is just 5 miles away. And being able to live in a village, more of a hamlet like this, miles away from the nearest city, but only half an hour away from very good train links to the rest of Poland and the rest of Europe. Behind me there's Otmachów, which has trains to the rest of Poland, and in that direction is a Czech railway station where I'll be going this afternoon to get the train to Vienna. Now I could just pause the video here and then pick up again when I get back into the building, but no, I'm just going to carry on talking. Hope that's okay with you. No local supermarkets here. You get your own eggs from your own hens. So many buildings around here have fallen into ruin because they've been abandoned by people who've moved to the cities. There's not much work around here apart from agricultural, and like most countries, people have moved to the capital and found that the only place they can really make a career is in Warsaw. But clearly some people are making a good living here, and many of the homes are renovated to a really good condition. But when Jim and his family came here 15 years ago, they were given an endless list of properties by the estate agents that they could look at, and this was one of the last ones they looked at, and it had to be. And we are, some information here, it's in Polish information here. Oh, there's loads of information online that I will post, but where are we? We are here. Warsaw is above here. This is just the region, and Czech borders down here, and Gluchalazy is where I spent yesterday. Really lovely town square there, and that's where the strange wooden construction in the woods was, and then lunch, dinner in the Czech mountains. I'm already planning my next trip, just like I said about Wrocław. Look at summer after next. I'd love to go and see what those lakes are like. But in the meantime, let's have another look at the house, or palace rather, because this is so much more than just a house. Okay, right. This home is not just the building itself, but there are a wide variety of barns and assorted outbuildings. Posted some photos earlier, but if you bear with me and if you stay watching, I'd be happy to show you around those as well. Lovely gardens in every direction, and nicely landscaped, largely unspoilt, but a full working farm on the other side. This is the chapel, and Dzieci Młodzie, I don't know what that means, or that. I'll look it up. He probably hasn't unlocked it. Oh, he has. Oh, right. This is special. Not many homes for less than half the price of a council house will give you an ensuite chapel. But this is a very Catholic area. Back when the Bishop of Wrocław was here, it was more a Protestant area. I wonder if this is him. Don't know. I wonder if they have a light switch. Let me have a look. look. Looks like they do. Wonderful. Right. Okay. I'm just going to be quiet and let you take it all in. So, actually, no, I am going to speak. This particular image of Christ, I wonder if any of them realise that there's no way that Jesus would have looked like that. But this has the most incredibly serene feeling to it. And as you'd expect, it is a wonderful space. And just imagine the history of this little chapel and what sermons have been told over the years, over the centuries. This has been here for a very, very long time. I don't know why I'm talking so quietly, because there's nobody else in there. But that was rather wonderful, being alone in that space. Okay, let's have a look round. So here, these gardens just go on and on and on. Where this estate ends, well, that's a matter of debate. Depends whether you ask Jim or whether you ask the neighbours. But land is divided up into parcels, and whichever way you look at it, there's plenty of it. But how far it goes, that is something I understand has been a matter of discussion, and perhaps heated debate for a long time. Is it as far as those walls? Is it further? Who knows? Okay. I asked him how long the house had been empty when he moved in here, because it was in a pretty poor state of repair. And he said about a decade, but the previous owners hadn't looked after it very well. I'd had visions of, was it like those scenes in Dr. Zhivago where he trudges through the snow for days and then gets to his home that's been empty for what appears to be decades and full of snow and sheets over everything. But it has taken a vast amount of love and effort. And there's a long way to go. But these outbuildings have been put to good use. That is perhaps some of the former floorboards, skirting boards. Plenty of firewood here. Everything has wonderful views. Lots of projects going on, and Jim is somebody with a lot of interests, but one of them is Eastern European cars, and he runs a car restoration business. And I think we'll find one in here. I think we'll find one in most of the barns. Look at that. Don't see many of these in the UK. I don't know what that was, but to be worth keeping, I would imagine it was rather special. And maybe one day it will be restored to its former glory. Out this side, it's the rugby pitch I was telling you about earlier. And Jim is a great fan of rugby, hosts the International Rugby Festival here every September, I think it is. I think the Chopin Festival is in August, the Rugby Festival is in September. There are all kinds of things that go on all year round, and probably more to come. But so many outbuildings. When they first moved here, they must have wondered, what can we do with all of these buildings? But what's great is they haven't been knocked down, they've been kept, and some of them are just nice storage areas for things. Others provide shelter for his various projects in restoring old Eastern European cars. And you will see that there is a particular type of car, I've forgotten the name of it, but particular type of car that he enjoys working on. It is a... No, it doesn't say what it is. Anyway, I will tell you later. Another view of that rugby pitch. Oh yes, one of the barns. Excellent place to turn into a cinema. I know he's currently looking for a welding machine. He's always got something on the go. And yeah, I can imagine this place is great for go-karting. Okay, right. Around here we have another of the numerous barns, and this is the party room. And this is being prepared for a fun get-together with the guests that you've just met. Not this. That's preparing something else. This is the second ballroom. And you can see this would be just ideal for a barn dance. And I believe that is tomorrow, Saturday night. What have we got here? We have the social team. Okay, that looks like that could be the rugby tournament. And when I say international, it truly is. Loughborough University, Vienna Celtic, Warsaw Frogs women's team, the Budapest Frogs, RC Wageningen / London Japanese team, the Vienna Celtic again, and the Falcon ladies team from Malta. Looks like he's managed to get some sponsorship for this. Jones, Lang, LaSalle, making the most of his city connections. And a whole lot of other teams, Wrocław, the Polish Barbarians, the Silesian 15, the Lechia Gdansk, Zabotroni, and many others. So international doesn't just mean Polish and British, all other kinds of Eastern European countries, and perhaps some Germans as well. Maybe the Germans have taken part but didn't win. Have you noticed they usually don't? Anyway, this is an essential part of any remote home with a lot of people living in it. Water's got to be processed somewhere. And of course, as we're in the 21st century, then if you've got the land, might as well use it for making your own power. Now, this is one of the boundaries of the estate, but I hope the neighbours won't mind me just going and showing you this particular barn. I did post a photo of it earlier, but it's just remarkable. background, you can see more of the mountains that surround this charming little location of Piotrowice and Nyskie. Just like the mid-19th century restaurant in the mountains I posted from yesterday, if I was stuck anywhere in the world for lockdown, that would be a place that would be natural. Okay, I don't think I can go in there. No, that's fair enough. Okay, that's the cow shed. And not just any old cow shed, but one of the most remarkable cow sheds I've ever seen. And what appear to be very happy looking cows. But as I said, it's the neighbours, so I'm not going to push any closed doors open. But I'm now back in Chez Parton, and another particularly pleasant garden to wander around in. No mobile phone reception in my room, so I've had numerous phone calls to England to make over the past 48 hours, and this is where I've done it, day and night. Rather lovely setting. I mean, so much of this has just been around for such a long time. This is what I call an established garden. And all the space you'd ever want for growing vegetables. It's fantastic. So, back to the palace itself. And I'll take you through the front door where I arrived on the first night. Okay, that looks like perhaps that was where they used to get their water from. The water's very good here, actually. Perfectly safe to drink, which is nice. You never know in remote locations whether that's going to be the case. And I love the motto they've adopted up here. Carpe diem. Seize the day. And I should think they have seized most of the 5,000 or 6,000 days that there have been since they bought this place. Hopefully had some time off as well. But I can imagine the work here is never ending. Cultural Ministry. Yeah. Right, let's have a look in here. Hello, Yakshimash. Right, Jim did say I could look around anywhere, so I might just do that. What's in here?
Yeah, okay. Sure thing.
Okay, so this is where the family's 6 children study. Very bright, lot of individuals. And this is the main breakfast room. Lunchroom, dinner room, larder. It is glorious. Right, at half an hour, I think I've done plenty of talking, and I will finish here. And this is something about one of the many events that go on here. That was back in 2018. And back to the central courtyard, and always something on the go. and half an hour. I think this is the longest video I've ever posted to Facebook, but thank you for staying with it. I hope you've enjoyed looking around.